Really?
Yes.
I was just talking to my coworker, and she was like, I had asked her if she wanted to have more kids, because she has a daughter. She's like, yeah, I don't want my daughter to be by herself. She's like, I don't have like 1 or 2 more kids. She's like, yeah, go in the room and talk about how much you hate me.
Together.
Like, yeah, I was like, yo, you're mad evil. Because she has like a lot of siblings too. She's like, what do you mean? That's the best part. Like, you could go and be like, yo, mom's getting on my fucking nerves. Like, I was like, nah.
Somebody who could commiserate with.
You're wildin', son.
But it's like, but you never, again, like, you never know. Because you might have one kid that, like, loves mommy and daddy. And they the snitch. And so then you try to be like, oh, mommy getting on my nerves. And she be like, I'm going to tell. Ma, they said such and such. They said this about you.
That's trifling. I don't understand that. Why would you switch with your siblings? That's trifling.
I don't know about that sibling life. Like I said,
sibling life is fun.
I don't disagree with you.
No, it's really fun. It's really, really fun.
5 or 6 though is a lot. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
I mean, I'm not saying that's not a lot, but having siblings are fun.
Having siblings, I'm sure, is cool. But being an only child is also cool. And only children are on the rise because everybody's broke and everybody's trying to decide how can they fucking afford to raise all these kids in this late stage capitalism that we're fucking living in.
Nah. Nope.
Would you stay like around
where I live?
Yeah. Like around your family or?
Yeah. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'll stay there. Go to your uncle's house. So get out of my face. Go play with your cousins.
Some people want to leave and go away and raise their kids somewhere else. Raise their kids in a totally different way.
Nah, son.
Try to see if they could give them different type of opportunities.
Nah, I'm staying right here, bro. And also, I feel like that my family, even though I have a lot of siblings, it's like still relatively small. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't want to move like that far away. Like I have a cousin in Texas. He's like the only one in Texas. So he comes back every summer because all of us are here.
Does he have kids?
Well, he's having a kid in July. She's like due that age, so that's where their jobs are. Their life is rooted there. Mm-hmm. But he comes back like every summer because everyone's here. Like his nieces, his nephews, his sibling, like we're all here. So it's like I wouldn't want to leave that because just being able to like go to my aunt's house and not have to go mad far, like go to my grandma's house, like that was like the fun parts of my childhood. Mm-hmm. So like I wouldn't want to move away, or if I do move, I'm not going to move like something like crazy, like 3 hours away. Like I feel like that's still too far. Mm-hmm. You'll get like 30 minutes out of me, you know, like a nice little drive, nothing too bad.
I've done a lot of moving. I left home like pretty young, and I lived in a bunch of places. I lived in a bunch of cities, and then I've like gone back home every now and then. I've always felt like if I did have kids, like, or settle down, want to have a family, I would want to do it at home. But I can also kind of see the upside of being someplace different, because I do feel like when you're away from family, it's kind of like you can do whatever you want. That's like the fun of like when you move away when you're younger, and then I know that when you're older, it's kind of the same too. It's like you're not constantly having to explain your decisions, your family choices, your things you like. If you have kids, you don't constantly have to decide, well, I decided to do this with my kid, I decided to do that, and have people being like, well, why didn't you do it this way, why didn't you do it that way?
I feel like that also plays a part in your family. Like I don't have an overbearing family. Mm-hmm. My family's not overbearing at all, so it's like, all right, cool, whatever, that's your kid. Like that's how my family is. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I don't have to like explain myself.
I don't think my family would be overbearing, but I think that they would definitely
judge you hard.
They would have opinions. They would have opinions. No, I don't know. Not that it would hurt my feelings or anything like that, but I definitely think that they would be like, oh well, especially because like my father's side of the family is like close, and we like all grew up together very close. Mm-hmm. So I definitely feel like, and a lot of them do already have kids, so I do think that they'd be trying to like give me some advice and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have to tell one of my cousins like, I didn't fucking ask you.
What do you mean? Just tell them that. That's it. No hard feelings. No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
No. But I also feel like the structure of my family is different because it's like a lot of guys, so they don't.
It's a lot of women in my family. See, it's majority women.
My family's majority guys. So
I feel like that's different.
My experiences are just different. Like,
yeah,
my brother's not gonna say, "Hey, don't get those diapers. Those aren't the good ones." Like, my brother's not gonna do that. But like, my aunt might. But it's only two of them. I can deal with them. You know, like. But it's mainly my brother, so I feel like that's also probably why I would stay home. Because I don't have that problem.
Because you're the spoiled only girl.
I'm not
only
spoiled.
Girl child.
I'm not spoiled. Y'all gonna stop calling me that. I'm not spoiled at all.
A shame.
I'm not.
It sounds like you are.
I'm really not.
It sounds like you run the show. It's Liv show over here, and you are LeBron.
No, not at all. I don't run the show. I don't know how to play your part. My part is just the little sister.
Yeah, exactly. The baby and the only girl.
No.
So that means you're like double running shit and double spoiled.
Not at all. Lies. The lies.
I don't think this is a lie. I'm feeling like this is fucking true.
It's not. It's a lie.
I wouldn't know. I mean, in my family, it's almost like the reverse because it's like majority women, and so like anytime like a boy gets born into the family, it's like a big deal. It's like a big deal, which does sometimes kind of make you feel like, damn, so like girls are just like chopped liver, like girls are just, and I kind of feel like that also plays into what we were talking about earlier about like bloodlines and like legacy too, because there's always this sort of attitude of like a boy, like the a namesake type of situation just because it's a boy. And then it does kind of sometimes feel like, okay, so like the 5 girls that like came first are just whatever, and like but now we have a boy, so now we can like all breathe a sigh of relief, like, whew, the family's not gonna die out, the family name won't be lost to history because like a boy was born.
That's when people. Someone said that to me today. That's when you use that.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was talking with someone about like family reunions and stuff, and she was like, "Yeah, I just thought my family was gonna die out because it's all women, but then all of the women had the sons, so we're fine." And now you like she literally used that exact language.
I feel like that's the language that gets used.
I was like, "Yo, Seren, get out of my life."
That's the language that gets used in our families. Like, it's certain things that like most of our families think and say, I feel like, and I kind of feel like that's one of those things, because it's kind of even like how you said it was like nothing but women, but then like the women have boys, but even still that means that those boys are gonna most likely 9 times out of 10 have their father's last names. They're not necessarily gonna have the family name or whatever. It would have to be like a boy like born into the family to like carry on the name. Otherwise people really will say, they'll be like, oh, the family gonna die out, like the family lineage gonna die out. You could be like, yeah, but it's like 100 girls, like, are we not part of the family? And they'd be like, well, the name's gonna die out, so like the legacy is gonna die out. Just like names and all that stuff is like, I feel very important to a lot of us, a lot of people when it comes to our families. So it's actually kind of interesting to me that you sort of feel like your family was like trying for a girl, because like I said, in my family was like the total opposite. I've like seen people in my family like try for boys. They had like 5 girls, and it was just like, I'm gonna keep going until I have a son. Like
no, I guess it's because out of my grandma's grandkids, it's 8 boys and 3 girls. So it's like everybody was having kids. It's like boy. They're like, all right, now when we gonna get a girl? Then I can, you know, bless the world with my presence.
Oh my goodness.
But I just feel like it's weird because my grandma had more girls than she had boys. So it was like the reverse. So like once they started having kids, it's all boys, and now it's the reverse because now my brothers and my cousins have kids, and it's like more girls. But my family's not like, oh, the name's gonna die out, because my brothers have our last name. Like, they have my mom's last name. They didn't get my dad's last name. Oh yeah.
Like, not even hyphenated or anything?
Nope. So like, my 3 oldest brothers they have their, like, my 2 oldest brothers have the same dad, and then the 4 of us have the same dad. So the 2 oldest ones, they have their dad's name, and then my brother that's 5 years older than me, he's my dad's last name, but the rest of us have my mom's last name. So it's not like the last name was ever going to die out because they have the last name, they didn't get our dad's name. So I feel like that's why my mom was like, my family didn't really, they weren't like, oh no, the name's going to die out, because my mom, like, they have the last name. Like, my cousin has my aunt's last name and not his dad's last name. Like, that's just something my family did.
Yeah, some people do that. They give...
My family's petty though, so...
They give the woman's last name. And I also feel like that's something that happens a lot when you have, like, single moms that, like, don't necessarily want the father's last name. And I also kind of feel like I see a lot of people that be like, they are estranged from their fathers, or like they don't have good relationships with their fathers, or they don't know their fathers at all, and like they was just straight up raised by like mom, single mom, and so they have their mother's last name. Or I've even known like some people that had their father's last name and then changed it because they was just like, fuck that nigga, like I don't even want that nigga last name. Or like I have a friend that was like, she can't wait to get married because she don't even want her father's last name, because they were like estranged or whatever. So it's, I don't know, it's interesting how emotional people get about name. Yeah, like emotionally attached and have all these strong feelings about names.
My brother, he has his dad's last name. He did something. He had like one entire year of school. He was like, put my mom's last name, and she didn't know he was doing it. Like, when, ma'am, stop touching your head.
I know, I'm sorry.
Like, he was in school and he would like sign like the papers with my mom's last name. But my mom, like, that's not something you catch. Is like my mom didn't pay attention. She's like, I didn't pay attention to that. And she's like, until he got older and he like brought it to my attention, like, nah, I don't use that last name, because my brother's not a junior, but they have the same name. And she's like, I didn't even notice you did that. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna use your name. He's like, because he didn't want to be, because him and his dad have the same name. It's like, like my own identity type of thing.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about that? About the whole
I don't
giving
like
the
that.
same name? No, so you wouldn't name your daughter Ebony?
No.
And you wouldn't name a son after the father? No. Why?
Because I feel like your name, like if you are named after someone, you're gonna, even though you're your own person, you're a new person, you're gonna have that stigma attached to it. So like,
of the attachment to the parent.
Like Serene Johnson, I don't know that. Serene Johnson. Oh, your mom used to be a terror in high school, like, and because you have that, it's like it's attached to you. Or just like, it's kind of like, I think of it as like twins. Like, people don't give twins their own identity. Like, I feel like you need to give a child.
Tia and Tamara got their own identities.
Oh my God.
Tia's the black one. Tamara's the other one.
I feel like you need to like give your child that respect. Like, don't have it like, oh well, I'm a James Johnson the 6th. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all coulda named him Jimmy or something. Like, y'all don't gotta give them the same.
I like when they give the names of the fathers.
Really?
Yes. If I had a son, I would do it. I think it's nice. I don't know. I like what it represents, I think, in terms of legacy. And I especially like when it like goes on and on and on, like, and it's like an unbroken chain.
Oh my God!
So you get to like, yes, like James Johnson the 9th. I love that. I think it's nice.
No, that's so weird. My friend has his. Is he the 4th or he's the 3rd? He's something, and he's like, I hate it.
Really?
Because he's like, not that he hates it. He's like, whatever number he is, but the fact that the name is old, like it's an old person's name.
What's an old person's name? What is it?
Chester.
Oh.
So he's like, I don't.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like.
We've all heard that joke, Chester the molester.
He's like, I don't like that. I was like, would you name your kid the 4th? He's like, no. He's like, I don't want to do that. But I'm saying that, and my brother's the 3rd. Like, so So it's like,
I always think about this kid I used to know that was the fourth, and everybody called him Ivy, and I remember thinking like that was so cool, and I was like,
he could have still had the same nicknames, right?
He couldn't have had the same nickname.
Yeah, he could have still been called four. He could have been called the fourth.
If he wasn't the fourth, he wouldn't have had the same nickname.
He could have still been called.
He had the nickname specifically because he was the fourth one. I think that's a nice naming tradition. I feel like I really.
So you gonna name your daughter Seren?
No, well, no.
Seren.
I like it with boys. Maybe I'm sexist. I like it with boys. I mean, I know women have done it too, and like women have done like the junior thing.
All right, I think that's OD and like the junior thing.
I've seen women do the junior thing as well, but I like it with boys. I think it's like a nice naming tradition, and yeah, I do think that it's nice to like sort of carry the name, even if it's like an old sounding name or whatever. I do think it's like nice to carry it. I mean, I think sometimes like my great grandmother, who died when I was like 12 or 13, and then her daughter, my grandma, they have the same name, and it's like a bit of a unique name. My grandma didn't have any daughters; she just had my dad, who was the only child. But it is sort of nice to. Because my grandmother's still alive, and like we're very close, and it is kind of nice that she has the same name as my great grandma, who I knew and like I loved and I remembered. I don't know. I feel like there's something nice. There's like something nice about it, and the idea also of the name, sort of like traveling, down through time. I guess you could say, which I guess is part of the whole like legacy conversation. I think it's a nice tradition. I feel like
you can still do that, but you don't have to give them the whole name.
How can you still do it?
So like I told you before, my brother has the same name as his dad, but they don't have the same middle name. So on paper, it's the same name, but it's not the same middle name.
But it's not the exact same. That's kind of cheating.
What do you mean? It's the best of both worlds. They're their own person, and you still get the name on paper.
I mean, I know that's also, especially in the South, that's like a common naming tradition as well, is to like give all the boys in the family the same name, the same first name, last name, but then give them a different middle name. Yeah, and so it's like, and then the nickname is the middle name. So it's like, oh, we are all named, Alex Walker, but like he's Alex James Walker, and like he's Alex Justin Walker, and like he's Alex John Walker. So then it's like James, Justin, and John, which I get, and that's fine. But I also kind of feel like now that can be a little bit confusing when like every single man in the family has the same name, including like brothers, like that have the same name. Like y'all all name Stanley Young. That's like.
That's so weird.
Especially like if they're all alive and y'all are like all trying to go places all together, and it's like, okay, y'all all have the same name. This is like confusing. But I don't know. I would like if let's say if I had 2 kids and I had 2 sons, I would like name probably the first one.
You'll make it the second and the third or whatever.
The firstborn would have the name, and then I guess the second one will not be the favorite.
That's evil. See, look, that's why you give everyone their own name, so you gotta think about it. They won't feel away.
And the second one could just be something else.
They gonna think you lazy anyway. Hey, you didn't have time to pick out my name.
I mean, I do feel like naming is like serious business, and I probably have like a panic attack trying to like name a whole other human being.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, your name does. I feel like your name does.
I know a few people that have like legally changed their names in adulthood because they like hated their given names. They didn't like the names that their parents chose for them. One girl though that I know has like a quote unquote like stereotypical like ghetto hood rat name, like Bonquisha. That's not her name, but something like that, and she always hated it. And as soon as she turned 18, she changed it. But it's funny because she changed it
to like a Britney.
Yes, actually. Right. I was going to say she changed it to something generic like Beth. Yeah, or like Britney. Like
it's 99,000 of them.
Yeah, so it is kind of interesting that you don't like your made up ghetto name that your parents gave you that was a unique name, and you picked something kind of more generic or more like, I think like people pick a lot of ones that sound more white sounding. I was listening to the radio the other day and it was talking about names, like adjectives as names, how people are naming their kids. People are naming their kids like nouns and adjectives. Like colors and apple and, you know, stuff like that. Saint in Chicago, you know, just like giving their kids random ass fucking names. And the radio personality was like, you know, I understand that you trying to be unique and you trying to like give your kid a name that will like stand out, but ultimately that's going to be something that hinders them in like the school application process and the job application process. Like, you need to try to give your kids like a more normal, and this was like a black radio show, you need to try to give your kids like more normal sounding names so that they can like get ahead, which I don't like that. I feel like that's respectability politics.
They can get ahead being a Tawanda or a
Beyonce.
Yeah. They can get ahead being
that's about ratchet as it gets right there.
You can get ahead being that.
I was like, instead of trying to like change your names to like fit the norm and the status quo, why don't we adjust the status quo to accept us and to like fit us? And that's how I
want to do that.
And that's how I feel when I like see this girl that I know change her name from Quisha to Brittany. Like, you hated that name because you felt like it was ghetto.
Yeah. And
so you like picked this other name that was quote unquote normal, which is your life, it's your money
in the world.
Yeah, like you can do whatever you want, but like I do think like, what is the deeper meaning behind why you even felt that way about your name, why you disliked it so much?
I mean, I do feel like people do just picking ridiculous names.
Picking ridiculous names is a thing.
Hey, I'm gonna name you Extreme. Like, alright.
Extreme Jones. Extreme Jackson with an X.
Yes,
like just X. Extreme.
That is definitely ridiculous.
There's definitely some ridiculous as fuck names. I mean, I feel like Pharrell, like, his son is named like Rocket. Like, Rocket Man Williams, because his favorite song is like Rocket Man by Elton John, so he named his son like Rocket Man Williams. I think it's like his first name is Rocket, I think his middle name is like Man, and his last name is Williams because his name is like Pharrell Williams. So I know the kid is named Rocket Williams. I'm pretty sure the whole name is like Rocket Man. Okay, like I like Elton John too, but
I'm not gonna be like, hey, Benny and the Jets,
right?
Like, no, I feel like that's
pilot inspector.
Yeah, like that's
audio science.
That's doing too much.
Like, what's the point? Like,
that's doing a lot.
It's like just picking.
I like Prince. I'm gonna name my kid Purple Rain. Like,
right. And now if you wanted to name your child Prince, that might be cool. But like Purple Rain,
nah. So they gonna be Purple Rain.
I'll never forgive Sierra for naming that child Future.
She don't call him. I don't know why she did that. Cause she don't even call that little boy that.
They call him by his middle name, which is Zahir, which I think is a really nice name. Zahir. I remember when she first named him, I was like, man, Zahir is a really nice name.
And it's like different.
Yeah, I was like, and I've never heard that name before. Like, she should have just named him Zahir Future if that was what she wanted to do. Because they always call him Zahir anyway. Like
bro, that's wilding out. Like,
Future's real name, not even Future. That's his stage name. Nate Badius.
So,
Nate Badius Wilburn.
And I will say I suck at pronouncing people's names, so don't give me no name with all them letters. It's gonna be wrong.
It's like N-A-Y-B. I
just spell it. I be like and I be like, nah, son, I'm not gonna butcher it.
Prince Naveen. I don't know.
I'm not butchering your name. Just let me know what it is.
You know who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Like I'm not doing that.
That is like that one Jordan Peele skit, which was like the only. I mean,
the one he was like naming saying the
kids. Yeah, that's like the only thing they've ever done that was like funny. When he was like, "Hey, Ron, hey, Ron," and he was like, "Aaron, oh, you think you funny, huh? Oh, you funny?" Because they were talking about how white people always like butcher black people names. They do.
My name is. My name is Ebony. I was at work. I was working retail at the time. I had a name tag. My name is spelled Ebony. This man gonna say, how do you pronounce your name? And I looked, my face was like, are you serious? Like, are you dumb?
You should have asked him, how do you think it's pronounced?
I did. And he's like, Ebony. I said, sir, are you slow? Like,
I think some people will read that. Not that this is an excuse, but I think some people will read that as Ebony because the word bony, like is in bone.
No,
bony,
bro.
It's spelled B-O-N-Y. So they'd be like, Ebony? No, but that's not.
It's Ebony, bro. Like, I was like, yo, are you? And my coworker, she's white, and she was like, are you serious? Yo, but she's like older. It was so bad. Like, sir, what do you mean? It's Ebony. It don't have no extra letter. Like, you ain't even try.
And they'll do that for the most simplest, most simplest of names.
Dumb,
like they will do that for the most simplest of names. I've seen people butcher like.
I don't have like
Tanisha. It's not that. Bro. Some stuff like phonetically you should be able to spell it out. Like
hooked on phonics or something.
I remember when I was young. I have a cousin named Tanisha, and I remember when I was younger, we had like went to summer camp, and my cousin like told everybody. She used to tell everybody to always call her Gloria.
Why?
Well, because we used to watch White Men Can't Jump all the time, and
she's such an old lady.
And she loved what's her name, like Gloria. Whatever her last name is, that's like
the Spanish one.
Esteban. Yeah, they used to be in all those movies, and so and then she like really liked the name Gloria, and like people could always pronounce it instead of being like Tanisha. People always used to say Tanisha or Tanishaya, and no, but maybe because like Shia is like a white people name.
I don't know.
They always
just don't try.
No, they used to be like either Tanisha or Tanishaya. She should just be like, just call me Gloria. Now, what's her name, Gloria? No, not at all.
They'll fucking try. When that man asked me that, I said, well, are you dumb? Like, I really think, like, they don't try at all. I feel like because I'm black, they just assume my shit was, like...
something hard to pronounce?
Yeah, like, that bitch don't got no normal name. Let's Ebony. No, nigga, that's not my name.
But I've seen, like, people say this type of thing on the internet, and I agree with this, where they be like, but it's totally expected that we should be able to pronounce... Tchaikovsky or Mikhail Baryshnikov or these type of like Eastern European names.
I butcher those names on purpose.
Do you? I mean, they be having a lot of consonants.
No, I'm petty.
They be having a lot of V's.
I'll be like, what? Like you could tell me and I'm butchering it on purpose, just off of GP.
Just to get back.
Yep, just off GP. Like, nah, this shit getting butchered.
Our names don't even be that hard.
It'd be 3 letters, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?
What is this? Tiro? Maybe Troy? It's like, Troy.
Bro, you trying?
I don't think it's that hard. Like they could pronounce Johansson, like Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. But they'll be like, what is this? And you'd be like, Johnson?
I'll be like, yo, y'all be wilding out. Like, y'all can't pronounce shit. They can't.
People are weird.
They just can't pronounce stuff. So like, when I was in college, it's a street in Jersey called Kane Avenue, but it's spelled Kaighns. And the lady was like, how do you say this? Cons? I said, it's Kane. She said, that's not how you say Kane. Ma'am, I'm
telling you.
It's Kane. She's like, what? I was like, ma'am, I get it. It's like not spelled like, the normal way you see it, but that's how it's pronounced. But I'm like, yo, how y'all not pronounce it? Like, when I tell you it's how it's pronounced, you're like, no, it's not. Bro.
Yes, it is.
And they do that too. Like, you'll tell someone how your name is pronounced. That's not how you say it. How you tell me how to say my name?
Yeah.
Like, are you dumb? Like.
But again, I feel like that's something that's reserved for us, because if you're in New York and you'd be like, oh yeah, it's Houston. Like, no, it's not Houston. It's Houston. Now it's spelled like Houston. It looks like Houston, but you can say no, it's Houston, and people are not gonna like second guess. They're not gonna be like, no, it's not. Mm-hmm. But if you're black and you say something like, well, my name is Houston, they probably be like, no, it's not. It's like
it's Houston.
Yes, it's like something that's very specific to like undermining us.
It is.
And like telling us like we're wrong and that they know and that we're confused.
I'm like, well, y'all wilding out.
And again, like the flip side is you can also have a quote unquote like normal name and they still act like they don't know how to pronounce it. Like I know a girl named Sarah, Sara, Sarah. They'd be like,
Sarah?
Sarah? Saray? Her name's Sarah. And I bet you if she was white, you would not be trying to even make up all these alternative pronunciations.
Yeah, like, I'd be like, yo, are you crazy? Like, they just saw me.
That's white people.
They're so annoying.
That's white people for you, though. That's just how they act with everything.
They won't try. They don't read. They don't read.
They don't try and they don't read.
Like, how you get this far in life, bro? You don't try. You don't read.
White privilege.
Bro, you gotta know how to read privilege. Like, they can't do anything.
I mean, but I kind of feel like that's literally why white privilege exists. It literally exists because they don't know how to do anything. And so it's kind of like if they didn't have the privilege from being white, they would just be lost in the world. Which is
still lost with the privilege.
I was about to say, which is exactly why when like certain like things and programs and initiatives and stuff start getting like rolled back, like white people throw these like temper tantrums because it's just like
welfare.
It's right. Or like affirmative action, like it's like, well, I can't get into school, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's like, yeah, because you're coasting by just on being white, and now somebody trying to say you can't coast by on that anymore. You feel like it's unfair. No, it's not that it's unfair. You just gotta work like the rest of us. Like get by on at least a little bit of merit like the rest of us.
They can't read, so they can't get by.
They can't do a lot of stuff. I've seen some of the things that some of them have said, and I just be like, you don't live in reality. Like that's just you don't live in reality. I don't know if you're living in outer space. I don't know if you live in like the white bubble. Right. I don't know if you're a fucking alien. Like if you're a xenomorph, if I need to be prepared for like a face hugger to like burst out of your chest or what. But like we are not living on the same planets. And just they have like white urban legends like about black people, which I've like talked about with people before. I remember being shocked the first time I ever heard this. There's like a white urban legend that like black people go to college for free.
I heard that too. I was like, what?
I was like, huh?
I must have missed that line.
Who told you that? Who said that? No. And they were like, yeah, my uncle said that all black people get to go to college for free and that white people have to like work so hard to get in and how it's not fair. I was like, bro, that's not the case. That should be a part of like reparations, but that is not true. And they have heard other stuff too about like how we can like get all these jobs, but I just feel like why do these urban legends even exist about us? What's even the purpose?
Because they're bored. They don't have anything else to do.
Where did they come from? Well,
their ass.
I guess I kind of feel like they came from like believing that we don't even have a place. We don't even have a place at like a job or at school. So it's just they have to make up a reason as to why we're even there. And the reason is, oh, we got in just because we're black.
I wish it was that easy.
It makes no. It's like the opposite. We're kept out of places because we're black. How have you talked yourself into believing we're let in somewhere because we're black? It's like that's what I'm saying. When I say like upside down world, like you don't live in reality. You don't live in reality. And since you're white, you were able to get to 33 years old believing that black people go to college for free. At no point in your 33 years of life was that questioned. Have you had to like take your feet out of the clouds and put them on the ground and live in reality until I had to be the one to tell you like no.
Yeah, son, I need to figure out where this go to college free life is because I'm going back.
Niggas can't even go to HBCUs for free. Like,
exactly.
The hell? It's too much.
Nah, I'm gonna find it. I'm like, alright, so this is where we go.
Okay, well, let me know when you find it, because
it obviously exists if these people really think that for all this
I've heard all types of, like, I've heard just all types of stuff about, like, what we eat, our hair.
What we eat?
Yeah, I know one that was like it was something about how we don't eat vegetables.
What?
I've heard that like black people don't eat vegetables. I've heard that black people never wash our hair. And I was like,
what?
No, we just don't wash our hair every single day because
white people don't even wash their hair every day. They don't even shower every day.
I've seen white people that wash their hair every day but don't shower. Like they'll wash their hair in like the sink or dunk their head, like put their head in the bathtub but like keep their body out, but they wash their hair because they wash their hair every day. They believe you're supposed to like wash your hair every day, but they think it's bad to wash your body every day because they feel like washing your body every day like strips the natural oils and the good bacteria that protects you off your skin. So they'd be like, you're not supposed to like wash your body every day, but you're supposed to wash your hair every day because your hair gets gross. And since like black people don't generally wash our hair every day, they believe we don't wash our hair at all. When I had locks,
how do you do that?
Some of the things that random strangers.
Oh, your hair smells good. You haven't washed it in 3 months. How'd you do it?
They'd be like, yeah, like how did you lock your hair? Because I heard you like can't wash your hair when you're doing that. So you say you had locks for like 5 years. So you just like haven't washed your hair in 5 years. Do you fucking really believe I haven't washed my hair in 5 years?
They probably do because that's something they probably would have done.
Right? Like you really genuinely believe? Yes, I fucking washed my hair. Like what? And I don't even know you. You're a stranger that just walked up to me in the library. Like, I will never forget this, like, white woman literally walked up to me in the library and was like, she didn't touch me, thank God, because it would have been a real problem. But she was like, I always told myself that it was some type of disclaimer. If I didn't have kids and I wasn't married and I wasn't, like, working a certain job at, like, 35, that I was gonna, like, do that to my hair. I love your hair so much, like, and I was just like, I remember like looking around like, why is she talking to me? Why is she talking to me? I was just like, okay. And then I just walked away. Like, why are you talking to me? Number one.
She liked your hair. She wanted to know how you did it.
What makes you think that that's appropriate for you to like just walk up to me and like say some like random ass shit?
They just walk up to each other and like touch each other.
It's weird.
All the time.
And just the way she said it, like it was so like,
if I didn't have kids, if I wasn't married, if I wasn't in corporate America.
Like it's so counterculture or whatever. It was weird. It was like a weird thing. Like, man, I always wanted to go skydiving. Like, they're locks. It's not jumping out of an airplane. It's not that serious. And why are you talking to me? I don't know you.
She wanted to touch it, but your face said don't touch it.
I'm pretty sure I must have had like "don't fucking touch me" written all over my face. Like, cause if she had touched me, it really would have been a problem. But like I'm saying, seriously, when I had locks, people used to just say stuff like that to me all the time. And I just used to be like, white people are so weird.
You're weird.
Like, the person that asked me about washing my hair really had me like, why would I? How? Sometimes you just want to say like, how?
Your face probably said it.
Why would I not? Number one, if I hadn't washed my hair in 5 years,
is that like
it would just be like one big dread probably. Like it wouldn't even be.
Is that like who doesn't? Is that like
right? Like who does? Like why would you even think? Who would not wash their hair for 5 years and like that be like acceptable? Maybe like why?
Their hair stink.
Yeah, like why?
It stink.
Would you not wash? It is. It's like, would you not wash your hair for 5 years? Is this why that's where your mind went? Like,
yeah.
I remember I went to summer camp one year, and this like white girl came, and she had like so many questions just about everything, about like lotion and like
they don't know lotion.
Combing your hair. You're like, what's that? Like, it's lotion. What's it for? Ashiness. What's ash?
Dry skin?
I don't. You're asking me so many questions.
Like ash is from a candle. Like I'll just be making up stuff at that point.
From a candle,
like
how does it get on your skin? Well, us black people have a ritual where every night, we light the candle and then we rub it all over our bodies. That's going to be another white urban legend. Did you guys know that every single night...
Why do you think they have so many... Why do you think so many of their grandmas have those candles?
Those candles. Because every night they light a candle and then they pour the wax all over their body and then they go to sleep and then at a certain point the wax turns into something called ash. And then they take showers to wash it off. And then
that's why they don't age. Let's go get all the candles.
And then they rub something called lotion all over themselves. And that's why they say black don't crack. But it's like, that's something that white people would really believe.
Like, well, what type of candle do you
I'm gonna just start making stuff up and like circulating it on the internet to see what takes hold.
I got my
urban legends.
I got my candle from this black-owned business. That's where you gotta go. Okay, if it makes me not eat, you don't have clothes.
I'm gonna write down all the steps for you, what you need to do, and then make sure you film it on Instagram Live so that we can. That's like a part of the ritual as well.
Oh no, you put it on wrong. Do it again.
Do it again. Seriously,
I'm crying. That's
how they really act. You just be like, I don't know, but that's just because like most white people just don't. They don't know any black people. They be so interested in like our culture, like our Black American culture. But this is not just them, like this is everybody, like the non-black POCs, and like they be so interested in our culture, but just they don't actually know any of us. That was something that I really experienced firsthand when I was like in LA, because it's like so many people that consider themselves like oppressed. I'm an oppressed minority. I'm an oppressed person of color.
You get on my nerves with that voice.
That's how they be. And they be like, yeah, I like read all this James Baldwin, and I read all this fucking Angela Davis. This is my my oppressed POC minority voice. I read all this Zora Neale Hurston and this like Toni Morrison. She just like completely changed my life. And I have my whole activist praxis around it, and you know, it just really taught me about oppression. It's like, you're a white passing, like, you're like a white fucking Latinx. You're like a Spaniard. Please, like, chill the fuck out. Like, relax. You don't even know any black people. You're afraid of black people, and your Filipino grandma voted for Trump because she's a hardcore Catholic that like
confuse me.
Doesn't believe in abortion and like doesn't like Hillary Clinton. So, which I don't like that bitch either, but I'm just like using that as an example. Like, you know, but like you have all this like interest in like black activists and like academia and like culture, and you're like using that to like form this like oppressed identity, but like you don't even know any black people, and I'm sure you believe all types of like these same exact like fucking stories and shit about us. But then when somebody's like, who's your favorite author, you'll be like, James Baldwin. I'm like, how does that work? I don't know how that works.
I don't either. I don't even try to figure out how it works. I just live my black life.
Yeah, pretty much. I've reached that point also.
Like, well, I don't know what y'all want me to do, because
I reached that point also of just being like, whatever. Like,
but sometimes I feel like being sarcastic, and I be like, what? Who's that? I've never heard of him ever in my life. What do you
so
mean?
Then they can tell you all about James Baldwin.
Yes.
Well, he was this black guy. Like, okay, it's please tell me more. Oh, tell me more. Great niggerologist.
You just called him a niggerologist?
Yes, I did.
Yo, I'm done.
You fucking specialist.
I'm so done.
You have a whole PhD in nigger studies.
I'm
Tell me more. I've had people tell me. Oh my god, I was just fucking.
You ever had somebody tell you something and your mind be like, that's so wrong, but you just be on the inside?
I literally just had somebody fucking DM me on Instagram arguing about Drake.
Oh boy. Turned out super dweeb.
Turned out they were like something like Asian person, and they were like, Drake has to like deal with all this racism and like this, and I was just like,
bro was raised with his Jewish mom.
I mean,
in Canada.
I was just like, you're not the person to like try and lecture me about anti-black racism as like an Asian Canadian. Like, you're just not the messenger. Like, if this is the message, like,
you're not it.
Like, you're not the messenger. You're not about to like hop in my DMs, like, because I had said some stuff about Drake, how I felt like Drake is like everybody right, like everybody knows how I feel about Drake, right? Like, and so it's kind of like you as like an Asian, again, quote unquote POC, whatever, call yourself lecturing me about Drake and how Drake is not a culture vulture because he's had to deal with anti-black racism. What does any of this even have to do with you? That's not even none of your business. Like, period. You're not even black. Like, go lecture your Korean grandma. about anti-black racism, not me.
I'm completely finished with you.
I'm just saying.
I'm so done. But side note, aren't Canadians supposed to be nice? Then people like get shot at their parade or something.
Canadians ain't nice. They hate indigenous people.
Well, that's you know what I'm saying. That's what they be saying.
Their rates of like
so nice.
Their rates of like rape and murder of like indigenous like people is so high.
Oh, yeah.
It's like extremely high, and they also don't really like black people in Canada either.
I mean, I ain't never
so they have like a reputation as being nice, but it's like they also have a reputation as being like extreme sports fanatics, like them hockey fans and stuff. They have a reputation of like fighting and stuff like that. So I don't know how they got this reputation as being, it's like, how do you have a reputation of being nice, but then you also have a reputation as being violent sports fanatics? I feel like that's just because they're white. It's just like more things that's only possible because you're white. Like, if people get the shit kicked out of them at hockey games and y'all light stuff on fire. They light stuff on fire. They like tear apart neighborhoods. Like,
their life together.
They do all types of stuff. But then they be like, woo, we're just fans. We're dedicated fans. Like, woo, like that's Canada. Like, but we're really nice. It's like, if y'all were like black, right? Like if y'all were black doing all that stuff, these would be considered like riots. These would be considered like, they would end organized sports if like y'all were black acting like that. That shit is only considered appropriate because you're white, and y'all still at the same time manage to have this reputation as being like nice. That's just like more shit you can get away with when you got that complexion for protection.
Yo, you on your quotables.
I'm just saying.
Quotables.
I mean, like, I guess some Canadians are cool. I don't know.
I don't know any Canadians, so.
I used to work for this Canadian lady. She cursed a lot, which was fine with me. Like, it's weird. Canadians do have a weird reputation. Like, they curse a lot. They're known for like cursing and like drinking beer and being like hardcore like sports fans and like hockey and like being hardy and like fighting. But they're also known for being so nice.
Oh, I don't pay attention to Canada. I just heard
they want to be known now, especially these black Canadians. They want to be known so bad these days.
Well, I mean, when you got Super Dweeb as your leader, you feel like you can't do no wrong.
Yep. They want to be down. I don't know. It's interesting to me that like now all of a sudden you have all these people that are like, we're American too, like just because they live on the continent of North America.
Who said that?
That's like becoming a thing. I feel like that's becoming a thing of people that like, especially like black people from like Canada, like black Canadians.
But you're not even
and like Central Americans and like South Americans even like throughout the Caribbean, like the West Indies. Just a lot of people are starting to come with this like, well, we're American too because like we're a part of the Americas. So when people say things about like, you know, well, again, like we're black Americans.
Yeah.
So something I've seen a lot of pushback against, for example, when you say something like, well, I'm a black American, like you're not, sorry. They'd be like, well, we're in the Americas, so like technically we're American too. Like and especially in Canada, being like, we live on the same continent as y'all. Like
we're Canadian. Like,
it's like, but when time comes to be like, oh, Trump did some wild shit, they'd be like, the Americans.
Yeah, like
the Americans down in there.
Like,
people are doing that. That's like becoming a thing.
That's weird.
It's a weird thing that's happening.
That's so weird. That's like me saying, well, I'm Canadian. I mean, not saying I would never say that, but that's like me saying, I'm Canadian because we're all on the same continent. Like
we've been on the same continent of North America.
Yeah,
that doesn't, I mean, I guess you could say, I guess you could say by that token that we are all maybe North American, but people don't ever say that.
Yeah, they're not saying, when they say American, they mean
like the United States of America, like the country.
They're not saying, well, if you say I'm North American, they're not going to say, hey, I'm American. I'm going to start saying I'm Canadian.
I've definitely seen an uptick in that type of commentary of like, well, because I've even seen a lot of people being like, why does Toronto even participate in the NBA? Like,
I'm confused too.
That's like a whole different like country. Why do they even have an NBA team? And then a lot of like the reasoning why, people be like, well, they are on the continent of North America. Like, technically, they are American, so they can play in the league. It's like, is that how it works?
I don't think so.
Are we, like, why are there no, like, Mexican teams in the league then? Or, you know, like, just random
Mexico City Suns.
Like, well, Central America, they have America in the name, so how come they don't get to have NBA teams? South America has America in the name. Why come they don't get to have a team?
I'm like, what?
When did it become like the leagues of North America? The basketball leagues of North America? I don't know. It's just like some interesting stuff to sort of think about while we've been like having all these conversations about like nationality and ethnicity and race, melting pot rhetoric. But like I said, when it comes time, when Trump does something stupid, everybody's like, them Americans, like, that's y'all president. Like, which, I mean, his foolish ass is. I'm gonna start claiming, well, no, I don't even know the name of the Canadian Prime Minister.
I don't know that.
I literally have no idea who it is.
That's my American card coming out. I don't know nothing else about nowhere else.
Yeah. I think it is called the Prime Minister, though. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but I think it is.
I think it is.
I don't really want to claim the Canadian Prime Minister either, though, to be honest. I don't want to participate in, like, none of these, like, organized government structures at this point. I'm over them. We could probably end this so we don't go on for too long.
Yeah.